Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I'm Maria Albina Michael, and with me is Abhishek Mukhopadhyay with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates 3 projects worth around 10,000 crore rupees in Gorakhpur, Uttar Pradesh. Prime Minister calls it a special day for development trajectory of the state. Third phase of Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana will be completed by 2025, says Rural Development Minister in the Lok Sabha. Rajya Sabha adjourned till 2 p.m. following opposition's ruckus over suspension of 12 members. Foreign Secretary Harshvardhan Shringala reaches Dhaka on a 2-day official visit to Bangladesh. President Ramnath Kovind witnesses flying display at Lohegaon Air Force Station in Pune, interacts with air warriors. Today is Armed Forces Flag Day. Vice President and Prime Minister pay homage and acknowledge exemplary contributions of the armed forces. U.S. announces diplomatic boycott of 2022 Winter Olympics in Beijing, citing concerns on China's human rights record. As India marches towards administering 150 crore vaccine doses against COVID-19, news about the new corona variant is a cause of concern. In this situation, we appeal to our listeners to get fully vaccinated at the earliest and help others get vaccinated. Please continue to follow these 3 simple steps to stay safe. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011-239-78046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi dedicated to the nation 3 major development projects worth around 10,000 crore rupees in Gorakhpur today. The Prime Minister inaugurated AIIMS, a new building of the Regional Centre of the Indian Council of Medical Research, ICMR, and also unveiled a fertilizer plant which was shut down 30 years ago. Speaking on the occasion, the Prime Minister said his government has taken steps to stop misuse of urea. He described this plant as an important one in order to become Atmanirbhar in urea production.
हमने यूरिया का गलत इस्तेमाल रोका, यूरिया की 100% नीम कोटिंग की, हमने करोड़ों किसानों को सॉइल हेल्थ कार्ड दिए ताकि उन्हें पता चल सके कि उनके खेत को किस तरह की खाद की जरूरत है। हमने यूरिया के उत्पादन को बढ़ाने पर जोर दिया। बंद पड़े फर्टिलाइजर प्लांट्स को फिर से खोलने पर हमने ताकत लगाई।
We now take you live to the Prime Minister's address.
बात आर या पार की हो गई, तब बहुत बेमन से, बहुत मजबूरी में पहले की सरकार द्वारा गोरखपुर एम्स के लिए जमीन आवंटित की गई थी। साथियों, आज का ये कार्यक्रम उन लोगों को भी करारा जवाब दे रहा है जिन्हें टाइमिंग पर सवाल उठाने का बहुत शौक है। जब ऐसे प्रोजेक्ट पूरे होते हैं तो उनके पीछे बरसों की मेहनत होती है, दिन रात का परिश्रम होता है। ये लोग कभी इस बात को नहीं समझेंगे कि कोरोना के इस संकट काल में भी डबल इंजन की सरकार विकास में जुटी रही, उसने काम रुकने नहीं दिया। मेरे प्यारे भाइयों बहनों, लोहिया जी, जयप्रकाश नारायण जी के आदर्शों को, इन महापुरुषों के अनुशासन को ये लोग कब से छोड़ चुके हैं। आज पूरा यूपी भली भांति जानता है कि लाल टोपी वालों को लाल बत्ती से मतलब रहा है। उनको आपके दुख तकलीफ से कोई लेना देना नहीं है। ये लाल टोपी वालों को सत्ता चाहिए। घोटालों के लिए, अपनी तिजोरी भरने के लिए, अवैध कब्जों के लिए, माफियाओं को खुली छूट देने के लिए लाल टोपी वालों को सरकार बनानी है। आतंकवादियों पर मेहरबानी दिखाने के लिए, आतंकियों को जेल से छुड़ाने के लिए। और इसलिए याद रखिए, लाल टोपी वाले यूपी के लिए रेड अलर्ट है, रेड अलर्ट।
Earlier in a tweet, the Prime Minister said, "This is a special day for development trajectory of Uttar Pradesh, especially Purvanchal." The Prime Minister said AIIMS Gorakhpur will strengthen health infrastructure in the state. The Prime Minister in his address said he is grateful to inaugurate the project whose foundation stone was laid by him 5 years back. Mr. Modi said today's program is a testimony of the fact that nothing is impossible for India. He said, "When the people of India gave me a chance to serve the nation in 2014, the production of fertilizers was inadequate. The country faced the acute crisis." He said the government has taken various steps to end this crisis in the country. He said these projects will be helpful in generating employment in the region. Earlier, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister in his address said the BJP government has made the impossible possible by inaugurating the fertilizer plant which was lying shut for 30 years. He said today's program is a testimony of Modi Hai to Mumkin Hai slogan. The Chief Minister said the fertilizer plant was closed on 10th June 1990. The previous governments did not pay any heed to restart this plant. He said the plant is not only revived but also has an enhanced capacity to produce fertilizer. He said Gorakhpur and eastern UP was seen as a region infested with diseases. The Chief Minister said health infrastructure has improved under the BJP government. He said before 2014 there was only one medical college in Gorakhpur in the Purvanchal. But now medical colleges are functioning in Deoria, Kusinagar, Siddharthanagar, Basti, Bahraich and Ayodhya districts.
Union Rural Development Minister Giriraj Singh has said the third phase of the Prime Minister Gram Sadak Yojana will be completed by the year 2025 with focus on providing easy access to markets, hospitals and schools. During question hour in the Lok Sabha today, he said the first phase of the central scheme focused on connectivity and the next phase on upgradation of rural roads. To another question, Minister of State for Rural Development Sadhvi Niranjan Jyoti said in the ongoing phase 3 of the scheme, even road length of less than the previously mandated 5 kilometers can be considered for development. The Rajya Sabha was adjourned till 2 p.m. just 5 minutes after it assembled for the day. The adjournment came following opposition members' demands to withdraw 12 members' suspension. Opposition leader Mallikarjun Kharge wanted to raise the issue. After that, Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu adjourned the House till 2 p.m. Since the beginning of the session, Rajya Sabha proceedings have been disrupted due to the opposition sloganeering in the House. 12 opposition members of the Rajya Sabha were suspended for the entire winter session on the first day of Parliament session on November 29th for unprecedented acts of misconduct, unruly and violent behavior and intentional attacks on security personnel on August 11th, the last day of the previous monsoon session.
The 21st India-Russia Annual Summit was held in New Delhi yesterday. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Russian President Vladimir Putin discussed regional and global developments, including the post-pandemic global economic recovery and the situation in Afghanistan during the summit. In his opening remarks at the summit, the Prime Minister said pace of relations between India and Russia has not changed despite the challenges posed by COVID, and the special and privileged strategic partnership has been continuously strengthening.
भारत और रूस के संबंधों की रफ्तार में कोई बदलाव नहीं आया है। हमारी स्पेशल एंड प्रिविलेज स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप निरंतर मजबूत होती गई है। कोविड के खिलाफ लड़ाई में भी दोनों देशों के बीच बेहतरीन सहयोग रहा, चाहे वैक्सीन ट्रायल्स और उत्पादन में हो, मानवीय सहायता के लिए हो या एक दूसरे के नागरिकों की देश वापसी के लिए हो। दोनों देशों ने न सिर्फ एक दूसरे के साथ निसंकोच सहयोग किया है, एक दूसरे की सेंसिटिविटीज का भी विशेष ख्याल रखा है। ये सचमुच इंटर स्टेट दोस्ती का एक यूनिक और विश्वस्त मॉडल है।
Mr. Modi said there have been many fundamental changes at the global level in the last several decades and a lot of geopolitical equations have emerged. He asserted that India-Russia friendship has been a constant among all these variables. President Ramnath Kovind today visited the Air Force Station in Lohegaon in Pune, Maharashtra. He witnessed the flying display and interacted with air warriors. A total of 27 aircraft and helicopters participated in the flying display. 17 Jaguars displaying the formation of the number 75, representing 75 years of India's independence. 2 Mi-17 helicopters showcased the slithering of armed men undertaking operation. The President yesterday visited the Raigad Fort and paid tribute to Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. Tomorrow, Mr. Kovind will be in Mumbai to present President's standard to the 22nd Missile Vessel Squadron in Mumbai.
Under the nationwide vaccination drive, 128 crore 78 lakh COVID vaccine doses have been administered so far. India's active case load currently stands around 95,000, which is the lowest in 554 days. Active cases account for less than 1% of the total cases. The recovery rate is currently at 98.36%. Over 10,000 recoveries were recorded in the last 24 hours, taking the total recoveries to over 3 crore 40 lakh. A total of 6,822 new cases were reported in the last 24 hours. The National Human Rights Commission, NHRC, has issued notice to the centre and the Nagaland government over reported botched-up operation against militants by Army para-commandos, resulting in the deaths of civilians. The Commission has issued notices to the Union Defence Secretary, Union Home Secretary, Chief Secretary and the Director General of Police, Nagaland. The Commission has sought a detailed report in the matter within 6 weeks. NHRC has taken suo motu cognizance of media reports on the killing of civilians when the vehicle was fired upon in an alleged botched-up operation by the Army para-commandos in Mon district of Nagaland.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio.
A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates 3 projects worth around 10,000 crore rupees in Gorakhpur, Uttar Pradesh. Prime Minister calls it a special day for development trajectory of the state. Third phase of Pradhan Mantri Gram Sarak Yojana will be completed by 2025, says Rural Development Minister in the Lok Sabha. Foreign Secretary Harshvardhan Shringla reaches Dhaka on a 2-day official visit to Bangladesh. President Ramnath Kovind witnesses flying display at Lohegaon Air Force Station in Pune, interacts with air warriors. News just in, Rajya Sabha has been adjourned till 3 p.m. Today's Armed Forces Flag Day. Vice President and Prime Minister pay homage and acknowledge exemplary contributions of the armed forces. U.S. announces diplomatic boycott of 2022 Winter Olympics in Beijing, citing concerns on China's human rights record. And for quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
Armed Forces Flag Day is being observed across the country today. It is observed on this day to honor the martyrs and men and women in uniform who valiantly fought and continue to fight to safeguard the country's honor. The day is dedicated towards collection of funds from people for the welfare of the armed forces personnel. The fund collected on the Flag Day is also used for the welfare of serving personnel and ex-servicemen. On the occasion, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu said he joins the nation in paying homage to the armed forces. In a tweet, he said that men in uniform have made the supreme sacrifice while fighting to protect the sovereignty and integrity of our great nation. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has acknowledged the exemplary contributions of the armed forces. Mr. Modi said their perseverance and courage are outstanding. He urged everyone to contribute towards the forces' welfare. Mr. Naidu urged everyone to come forward and contribute generously to the Armed Forces Flag Day Fund. He said this fund is dedicated to the rehabilitation and welfare of the dependents of our brave martyrs and disabled personnel.
Ahead of the visit of President Ramnath Kovind to Bangladesh from 15th to 17th of this month, Foreign Secretary Harshvardhan Shringla is visiting Bangladesh to prepare for the high-level visit. Our Dhaka correspondent has filed this report.
Foreign Secretary Harshvardhan Shringla arrived in Dhaka today on a two-day official visit to prepare for the forthcoming visit of President Ramnath Kovind to take part in the Bangladesh Victory Day celebrations between December 15th and 17th. He will call on the Foreign Minister Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen. Mr. Shringla will also call on the Minister for Road Transport and Bridges and Awami League General Secretary Obaidul Qadir today. He is scheduled to call on Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina tomorrow. India and Bangladesh are jointly commemorating 50 years of the establishment of their diplomatic ties. The Ministry of External Affairs said that Foreign Secretary's visit to Bangladesh will provide an opportunity to review the wide-ranging cooperation between the two countries. Rajesh Jha, AIR News, Dhaka.
This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts. Best wishes to all consumers for Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Hallmark ensures purity of gold. Always purchase Hallmark gold jewellery. For any consumer-related complaints, please contact National Consumer Helpline's toll-free number 14404. Issued in public interest by Department of Consumer Affairs, Government of India. Jago Grahak Jago.
And now let's listen to our special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News, Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
17 years of imprisonment, including 5 years of torturous imprisonment at Kalapani and 2 daring jailbreaks, are just a glimpse of the hardships in the life of the brave freedom fighter, Yogendra Shukla. Born in Vaishali, Bihar, Yogendra was inspired by the sacrifice of young Khudiram Bose. He started revolutionary activities in Uttar Pradesh and Punjab.
For many years, Yogendra Shukla was a senior associate, mentor and trainer of Bhagat Singh and Batukeshwar Dutt in Hindustan Socialist Republican Association. Pained and grieved by the hanging of Bhagat Singh, Yogendra Shukla decided to build the organization back in Bihar.
In 1932, he was caught by a British spy and sent to cellular jail in Andaman Nicobar. Along with fellow prisoners in groups, he was chained like bullocks, blindfolded and dragged to the oil mills. Flogging was normal practice inside the jail. Yogendra Shukla went on hunger strike inside the jail against the inhuman treatment given by the British. After 5 years at Kalapani, Yogendra Shukla was transferred to Hazaribagh Central Jail. He was released in March 1938.
Yogendra Shukla joined the Indian National Congress after his release, but soon became a member of the Congress Socialist Party at the instance of Jayaprakash Narayan. He was again arrested in 1940 after he became a member of the Central Committee of the All India Kisan Sabha. In 1942, the call of the Quit India movement stirred him from inside. In a daring move, he, along with Jayaprakash Narayan and other associates, climbed up the wall of the jail at midnight and escaped from captivity.
As Jayaprakash Narayan was ill, Yogendra Shukla lifted him on his shoulder and walked through a distance of about 124 kilometers to Gaya. Yogendra Shukla led the Quit India movement in Muzaffarpur. Some of his close associates were then imprisoned in Muzaffarpur jail. Here also, he led them to escape the jail. The British had announced a big sum of reward for the arrest of Yogendra Shukla. He was tricked and arrested and was sent to Buxar jail.
In 1946, the local government pressurized the British to set him free. Post-independence, Yogendra Shukla was nominated to the Bihar Legislative Council in 1958. He remained active and vocal for the cause of the poor till his death in 1960. Remembering his perseverance and love for the nation is perhaps the only tribute to the great son of soil.
Today we also remember Bagha Jatin on his birth anniversary. Jatindranath was born in Nadia district of undivided Bengal. He was called Bagha because once, to save villagers, Jatin fought with a Royal Bengal tiger and killed the tiger with a dagger.
It was Sri Aurobindo who instructed Jatin to create a secret society. That secret society was known as Yugantar, and Jatin became its commander-in-chief. Jatin inspired many young minds. He said, Amra morbo jogot jagbe, meaning we shall die to awaken the nation.
In the year 1914, when the First World War broke out, Jatin sought foreign help. His group was going to receive the consignment of arms near Baleshwar, but the information of this consignment was leaked by an Irish agent and the British attacked his group. Jatin and his group members fought hard, but Jatin was seriously wounded in the battle and he succumbed to injuries the next day in Baleshwar City Hospital.
All India Radio pays tribute to the brave warrior. That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
भारत के स्वतंत्रता संग्राम में अनगिनत स्वतंत्रता सेनानियों ने अपने प्राणों की आहुति दी। कुछ इतिहास में अमर हो गए और कई गुमनाम। आजादी के अमृत महोत्सव के अंतर्गत 75 कड़ियों की श्रृंखला में हम उन वीरांगनाओं की बात करेंगे जिनका योगदान कभी भुलाया नहीं जा सकता। प्रत्येक मंगलवार परिक्रमा में सुनिए अपराजिता, देश की वीरांगनाओं को आकाशवाणी का सादर नमन।
In today's episode of Aparajita, we will bring you the story of Jalkari Bhai, the determined, courageous heroine of Bundelkhand. In some more news from Parliament, the Centre has said it is committed to improving sports infrastructure in the country in coordination with all the state governments. Responding to queries during question hour in Lok Sabha today, Minister of State for Youth Affairs and Sports Nisit Pramanik said the centre has sought details from the states about the existing sports infrastructure. He said 2,965 sports persons in the country are being provided financial assistance of 10,000 rupees a month besides access to several sports facilities. He said the proactive steps taken by the government have resulted in a record number of medals in the Tokyo Olympics and Paralympics.
Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports Anurag Thakur today said that the construction of the Sports University in Manipur will be completed soon.
कुछ दिन पहले मिशन ओलंपिक कमेटी का गठन कर दिया है। जहां तक नेशनल स्पोर्ट्स यूनिवर्सिटी की बात है, 550 करोड़ रुपए की लागत से वहां बनाने के लिए नींव पत्थर भी रखा। इम्फाल में ये नेशनल स्पोर्ट्स यूनिवर्सिटी बनने जा रही है और कोविड के कारण जो पिछले कुछ दिनों में कमी आई है, आप देखेंगे इसमें प्रगति बहुत तेजी से होगी।
Replying to questions in the Lok Sabha, Mr. Thakur said Mission Olympic Cell chooses elite athletes to give them good quality training. In a reply to the question whether the ministry has any plan in creating a sports academy in Amritsar, Mr. Thakur said that the sports is a state subject and that he will give the list of projects to the member. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi has urged the government to provide monetary compensation to the families of those farmers who died during the prolonged protest. During 0 hour in the Lok Sabha today, he remarked that he has the list of 700 farmers who lost their lives during the protest, adding the family members be given government jobs.
Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Thakur today informed the Lok Sabha that Prasar Bharati is not closing any Akashvani radio stations in the country. In a written reply to the Lok Sabha, Mr. Thakur said Prasar Bharati has 500 All India radio broadcasting centres across the country. The minister informed that obsolete analog transmitters are phased out from time to time with the availability of alternate transmission technologies such as FM, satellite radio through DTH and internet streaming. The minister also informed the House that Prasar Bharati has not closed AIR FM radio channel in Bengaluru. Mr. Thakur said multiple Akashvani stations including AIR Bengaluru contribute several hours of classical music content daily to Ragam 24/7, thus providing opportunities to artists from respective cities. The US has announced a diplomatic boycott of the 2022 Winter Olympics in Beijing, China. The White House official has said no official delegation will be sent to the Games because of concerns about China's human rights record. But it said US athletes can attend the Games and will have the government's full support. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said U.S. diplomatic representation will treat these games as business as usual in the face of Beijing's egregious human rights abuses and atrocities in Xinjiang.
External Affairs Ministry has said that India has been consistently supportive of the democratic transition in Myanmar as a neighbouring democracy. On the proceedings against Aung San Suu Kyi and others in Myanmar, the official spokesperson Arindam Bagchi said India is disturbed with the recent verdicts. He said India believes that the rule of law and the democratic process must be upheld, and any development that undermines these processes and accentuates differences is a matter of deep concern. Mr. Bagchi expressed hope that keeping the nation's future in mind, efforts would be made by all sides to advance the path of dialogue. The Sensex and the Nifty today jumped around 1.9% in the afternoon trade. Both stocks rose amid positive cues from the global equity markets. The Sensex was trading above 57,800, while the Nifty was trading above 17,200 level. The BSE Sensex climbed 1,087 points or 1.91% to trade at 57,834. The NSE Nifty also surged 319 points or 1.89% to trade at 17,231. In the forex market, the rupee weakened marginally by 3 paise against the US dollar to trade at 75 rupees and 46 paise per dollar in afternoon deals.
In Spotlight, the News Services Division of All India Radio will bring you special year-ender on steps taken by the government in the fight against coronavirus tonight at 9:15 p.m. In our bilingual live phone-in program, Corona Jagrukta series, Dr. Neeraj Nischal of AIMS, New Delhi will be with us today at 9:30 p.m. onwards to answer the queries related to coronavirus. Listeners can ask questions to the expert on toll-free number 1-800-115767, repeat 1-800-115767, and on telephone number 011-2331-4444, repeat 011-2331-4444. You can also post your queries on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts by hashtag AskAIR. We will also bring you a special program on Bangladesh, the quest for linguistic identity and the birth of a nation in World News at 10:30 p.m. tonight. All programs can be heard on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies. These programs will also be available on our website newsonair.gov.in and on our YouTube channel News on AIR Official. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates 3 projects worth around 10,000 crore rupees in Gorakhpur, Uttar Pradesh. Prime Minister calls it a special day for development trajectory of the state. Third phase of Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana will be completed by 2025, says Rural Development Minister in the Lok Sabha. Rajya Sabha adjourned till 3 p.m. following opposition's ruckus over suspension of 12 members. Foreign Secretary Harshvardhan Shringla reaches Dhaka on a 2-day official visit to Bangladesh. President Ramnath Kovind witnesses flying display at Lohegaon Air Force Station in Pune, interacts with air warriors. Today is Armed Forces Flag Day. Vice President and Prime Minister pay homage and acknowledge exemplary contributions of the armed forces. US announces diplomatic boycott of 2022 Winter Olympics in Beijing, citing concerns on China's human rights record. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website, newsonair.gov.in and News on Air app. And with that, we end the Midday News.